Join us as we take a look at the lifestyle of speed and design in the world of exotic cars. We'll highlight some of the most expensive cars in the world. This week we're in South Florida for Exotics Unplugged. Supercar Week happens every January in beautiful Palm Beach, Florida. This week's event starts at Lamborghini of Palm Beach with a rally to the Tideline Resort for the kickoff party. Cars were featured at the Polo Grounds and drew a big crowd, highlighting one of the area's great equestrian facilities. Guests were able to mix and mingle at the O Resort, one of the finest resort and spas in South Florida during the VIP party.
It has a lot of horsepower, but these cars use it better. So they have better traction control, better computers, and they're lighter. So the technology's come a long way. So a lot of times these newer cars with less horsepower are actually faster. And these newer McLarens and Lamborghinis are very easy to drive. Anybody can drive them because a lot of them are all-wheel drive, and the computer really takes care of utilizing that horsepower. Where this Corvette, it's raw horsepower, it's a manual transmission, manual clutch. So it takes a lot more skill to drive a high horsepower rear wheel drive car without traction control. And I like the challenge of it.
The PGA National hosted a reception and cocktail party. All the owners enjoyed this wonderful venue. From the golf course to the fashion show, owners enjoy the lifestyle centered around these exotic cars. An early morning rally on the coast leads us to the art gallery where Acura was allowing owners to do test runs of the new NSX. We've had a full week centered around these incredible machines, and now it's time for the grand finale. Exotics Unplugged is brought to you by Acura, precision crafted performance. Monkey in Paradise Vodka, the official vodka of paradise. Please drink responsibly. Exotics on Las Olas, some of the rarest and most striking automobiles in the heart of Fort Lauderdale. Diamonds by Raymond Lee hosts a unique car event, Diamonds and Donuts. This month, they have invited Crispy Media, one of the largest social media influencers in the exotic car world, to come film the event along with some other planned shoots to be released on YouTube.
We're down here at the Diamonds and Donuts car show in Boca Raton, Florida. We've been out here filming all weekend. We got here on Friday, we got off the plane and we went straight to our first shoot down in Wynwood with some JDM cars that came all the way up from Orlando. They all drove 4 hours just to come shoot with us, which was awesome. We shot into sunset, went to the port of Miami. We went under tunnels, over bridges with these cars. They were shooting flames. We got some really, really cool footage. And then those guys went back home. And the next morning, we got up early. We did another shoot for this whole video that we're making down here for Diamonds and Donuts with some exotics in a mansion. We shot with donks. We shot at night. We may or may not have shut down an intersection and caused some havoc. That might not have been us. Theoretically, it was, but no promises. We did some really cool footage. And today we're at the Diamonds and Donuts car show. It's winding down right now, but me and my crew killed it, I think, this weekend. We got some really cool footage. We're swapping between handheld and Movi footage. Really cool that they had a whole range of cars here. They had exotics, JDM cars, what else? They had some motorcycles show up. They had a little bit of everything, and it's winding down now. We've had a great time, minus the humidity here in Boca Raton. I'm from New York, so I'm not used to this. It's just starting to get chilly back home, so I'm ready to get back on that plane in a few hours. I work around a lot of exotic cars, so I've seen a good bunch of exotic cars from all over. But what was cool is just seeing them naturally out on the streets down here in Boca, and over in Miami, just watching them drive by in Wynwood. We're sitting there on the side of the street, and just Huracans coming left and right, just normally, like it's everyday business. I live in a town of like 2,500 is our population, and there's maybe one Aventador that I know that drives through the town. So seeing all these supercars around is always a nice sight to see.
Fill your parking lot with exotic cars and you are sure to have a big crowd. A very creative way to market your jewelry and diamonds. Exotics on Las Olas features some of the rarest, most striking automobiles in the heart of Fort Lauderdale. This very prestigious event has something for everyone. We caught up with one of the professional drivers for Team Ferrari.
Well, first, as a man, we grow up with a passion of Ferrari. And then we start to discover why Ferrari, why it's so special. So a lot of people don't know about it compared with another brands, but it is special. It's got something special. It's love, it's the passion, but the way it's built, it's custom made, it's handmade. You know, I'm the privilege to visit and to practice at the track in the factory of Ferrari in Italy, and that's why you discover why is Ferrari special. Well, the car, it's a 488 Ferrari Challenge. It's a race-ready car, comes from Ferrari. You know, Ferrari is a passion. I have owned and I have some classic Ferraris, but this is my race car, which it's an amazing car. It's produced around 700 horsepower. It's very fast car, and it's an amazing car to drive. Well, the team championship, you know, we have a pretty good season. We started in Austin as the first race. We had like 7 races this year, and we did it very well. You know, we brought a trophy pretty much in almost every race in the podium. So it was amazing year. It was a really good year. Well, it's a 30-minute races. We do 2 races on the weekend. We have qualifying, and we have a testing days. So pretty much it's with 4 days, long hours racing before the races, like a lot of testing, 6 hours testing. And I mean, on the races, it's very competitive. We have about 50 cars on the races, and the last race was in Mugello, Italy. We had 3 races, including the World Finals, the Finale Mondiale, which is very well known in Italy, Mugello. You can see here you have the Ferrari 488 Pista Aperta, which is sitting right next to us, which is a convertible model. This is one of the latest. I think this is the second or the third car delivered in the US. And then is the Ferrari 488 Pista Coupe, which is street cars, but it's pretty much like a race car. That's why it's called Pista, which translating means track. But it's an awesome car to drive on the street also. Yeah, this is a Formula One F1 car 2008 from the driver Felipe Massa, which I had the pleasure to buy this vehicle as, you know, as a collection and as a classic also F1. So that's part of my collections of Ferraris, and that's my passion continues over there. So as for other things that I wanted to mention, it's about Ayrton Senna, and actually that shirt that I'm wearing now, you know, Senna Sempre, which is a Brazilian driver, Ayrton Senna. I'm very passionate about the person, human being, which, you know, passed away 25 years ago. But we're celebrating this, especially this weekend, we have the Tributo Ayrton Senna, which is a tribute to the driver. It's doing in Brazil at this point with the F1 weekend. And as a celebration tribute, I also did my helmet, which is this helmet is a tribute Ayrton Senna for 2019. And We use it on the Ferrari Finale Mondiale on Italy, and I did the helmet as his tribute helmet. It's unbelievable, you know. It's nothing that you compare because there's so much downforce on the car. So you actually have to go faster on the turns to not spin out. It's opposite than a Gran Turismo car, you know. So you have to go fast to make the car stick into the floor, you know. If you don't have enough power in the turns, you ended up spinning out. Ferrari Pista Piloti, which is, they only make that car for Ferrari drivers. You have to be an official Ferrari driver to have access to that car. By the way, mine's on the way. They made a one also for me. And that's a Ferrari F12 TDF, very exclusive. And the last one is a LaFerrari Coupe. And all his vehicles in white, but they don't have the Pista Piloti in white. They only have 4 colors. And I think the silver one's the closest that I can get it to white. Extremely rare. LaFerrari, it's extremely rare vehicle. You know, the price is like went up. Original price was like 2.5 million, and this car at one point was $10 million, the Aperta. The LaFerrari was like 1.4 million, and they went up to $5 million. So now the soften up a little more the prices, but they still like every single piece here, very desirable, very rare cars.
It was a beautiful day. What a perfect setting for a car show with restaurants and shopping.
I've been collecting cars for the last 40 years. And I've just accumulated a collection of about 90 cars. About 45 days away from opening up Iconic Motors in Miami. And I believe it will probably be one of the largest exotic car dealerships in the country, possibly the world. Every make and model, from Porsche, Ferrari, McLaren, Mercedes, Apollo. Coming in about 3 weeks will be the very first Apollo IE, and it will be unveiled at my opening party in December. My involvement in cars, I guess I've been active in many social events. Just been a car enthusiast. Also been customizing. My original passion when I started this was a lot of custom street rod type cars, and I've always loved, you know, creating and designing some really special cars. It's an eclectic collection. My original cars were like mid to late mid 50s to late 60s, all convertibles. I just had a passion for that heavy Detroit steel, you know, the chrome, and just modifying them a little bit, perhaps, just to, you know, operate them a little, you know, better. That's all.
This car is one of 63 that are being produced in the whole entire world. Only about a third of that come to the United States. It was a beautiful spec. This is Grigio Adamus, which is a matte silver. It's probably going to be the only one with this spec in the whole world. Obviously, the 63 is a significance because of the year that Lamborghini was established in 1963. That's when they were founded. The car has a little bit different features than a regular SVJ because it's the only one that can have the SVJ livery, which later maybe you'll get some footage of the livery around the car. It has the carbon fiber roof. And the SVJ is also a very special car because it's the car that set the world record on the Nürburgring for a little while. I don't believe it holds the world record anymore, but it did for a while, which was a very special occasion for Lamborghini. The inside is very similar to the Aventador S. It has all-wheel drive, all-wheel steering, 770 horsepower. It still does have a single clutch, so if you like that raw feeling of the single clutch, this is the car. You know, everybody's moving towards a dual clutch, which is quick, but this is the fastest single clutch vehicle on the market. Very special car. We're happy Motor Trend's here to cover it because this is one of 63 in the world, and hopefully you get to see all 63 of them. Thank you.
So this is the limited edition SVJ 63. Only 63 of these are being made for the world, and I'm honored and happy enough to get assigned one of these over here. It took us about a year to go through the production specs and get it just right. But as we can see, this is a race color that I chose, which is a matte finish, the Grigio Adamus, which kind of lends itself to being a little bit more of a racy spec. What more can I tell you about it? Lamborghini itself is a brand that we love and have several of, and again, we were fortunate enough to get an allocation on this. I'm not quite sure as to how many are coming into the US, but I've heard about 5 or 6. I love my cars, and obviously anytime you have the privilege of having something special in a low number series, that really adds to the element of ownership itself. I have to say, this is an absolute treat, not only for us as owners, but for everybody in the crowd over here. You can just see people come from far and wide to really enjoy this, and we're very thankful that the city of Fort Lauderdale and Floyd, our organizer here, was able to put this together for everybody.
Excel Auto brought out some very rare cars to display. Welcome to Ace Cafe in Orlando, Florida, a hotspot for car, truck, and motorcycle clubs alike. Every month, vehicles from all over the state of Florida come out of the woodwork to get together at Ace. This Saturday was no exception, as one of the biggest Mopar clubs in the country came out in full force. Show cars to supercharged drag cars, the Mopar Outlaws of Florida put on a back-to-school supply drive for local schools. Prominent YouTuber personalities from across the state came out to support the fundraiser. One of the most neck-breaking cars at this event was a patriotic-themed Challenger SRT Hellcat, nicknamed the Americat. The owners of these exotic cars also have the means to afford the luxuries of life. Advertisers put together exotic hangar parties, such as this one in Boca Raton, where private jets and charter services are being offered to this clientele. It makes a great venue for a very exclusive party, and the exotic cars are front and center. One developer took this a step further by creating a living space where your car is the key to your condo.
When we first started Porsche Design Tower, it was we signed up with Porsche in 2007, and right as we signed, there was the market collapse of the great recession of 2008, 2009. And so we sat down and we said, well, what does Porsche have to do with real estate, and how are we going to sell real estate in today's environment? So we said, well, let's make the building for the car collector. A car collector who's not necessarily looking for financing, a guy who can pay cash for an apartment, a guy who enjoys his automobiles and wants them in the living room. And the real inspiration for the entire building was my own house. I live in one of the buildings we built, and I took the first 3 floors on the ocean, and I connected a swimming pool to my apartment, but also, more importantly, I have a 29-car garage. So we couldn't exactly do 29 cars in every single unit, but we said, let's do a building where the garage is part of the apartment, where you can come and go without asking anybody for assistance, where you don't have to ask for a valet or need any help like that, and you can just make it really like it's single-family home, but in the sky. A lot of our buyers that we saw were penthouse buyers that didn't necessarily want to be on the rooftop. So we said, well, let's make a building full of penthouses, and that's kind of what we did. And that's what this building really is. It's you come in here, you pull up in the Deserator, you pull up with your car right into your living room, and you walk 2 steps into your apartment. And so the idea is that the benefit of it is that you get to see the cars in your living room, and so we have a lot of car collectors who love that part of it. But then we have a lot of people who just like the idea of privacy and the idea of being in a building and being able to come and go without people knowing when you're leaving, who you're going with, or who's coming and going. You can just jump in your car, go down the elevator, walk right out the building. So that was the inspiration for really to take all the penthouse buyers that would be penthouse buyers in all the buildings and try and put them all into one tower.
Exotics Unplugged has been brought to you by MagnaCool, the world's first patented magnetic cooler. European Auto Body, specializing in the buying and selling of high-quality investment and collector automobiles. Supercar Rooms of Miami, the nation's first road art gallery and gourmet dining experience. The grand finale of Supercar Week on the waterfront of Palm Beach is a well-organized event with an expected crowd of over 100,000 guests. The cars are separated into areas such as Muscle Beach, Memory Lane, Green Street, and more. There was entertainment for the whole family.
I'm a driver of the Florida Tech Jet Dragster. It is a jet-powered vehicle. It goes 0 to 100 in a second, 0 to 280 in 5.5 seconds, and this is my 18th season doing that. We're out here at Supercar Week, and man oh man, there is everything. There's something for everyone, from Lamborghinis to Bugattis to McLarens and jet cars. I mean, if you're a fan of something that likes to go fast, this is the place for you. I love coming out here every single year and seeing what's out here, seeing what's new, and seeing if I can impress people with my race car. Well, I met and married my high school sweetheart. We've been married for 32 years. He had the love of aviation and I had the love of racing, and so we put our two loves together and we built our first jet car. I've been doing this for 18 years, and I was lucky enough to win 2 back-to-back world championships with the International Hot Rod Association. I'm really proud of that. I'm proud of working with the next generation of motorsports professionals, and I love being out here at Supercar Week showing off all of their hard work.
We are one of the main sponsors here at Supercar Week. This is fun, as you can see. Thousands of people walking back and forth. We have about over 800 cars showing here on Flagler. Every year that we come, it's bigger and better, and this is quite spectacular today, the turnout. Well, growing up, my father had a collection of classic cars, and in the back of my mind, I always remember that one day, possibly growing up, I would love to be involved with Mercedes-Benz or something of that nature. Didn't have the money, didn't have the chance or the opportunity to do so until about 2006 when I bought a 1959 Cadillac, all right, beautiful car, and I sold it for about $10,000 more than what I paid for it, and then after that my life changed. I bought a 190 SL, I bought 2 more later on, and after that it was just a domino effect. It was one thing after the other, and today I'm very blessed to be part of this beautiful event and part of what I'm doing because I'm very passionate about restoring Mercedes-Benz.
When I was a little kid, I always had passion for cars. When I was 12 years old, I begged my dad to buy me a 1947 Austin A40 Devon and attempted to rebuild it. We later moved to Europe, and I got involved in bringing cars back from Europe and buying and selling cars. And then I had a construction background, and unfortunately got hurt. And my old lost hobby turned back into the passion of antique automobiles. I'm involved with European Auto Body now, and I do a lot of charity work in the local community by showing and exhibiting our cars and displaying our cars for nonprofit charity organizations. Today, all the money that we raise goes to the Food Bank of Palm Beach County. I think it's very interesting of collectors. You know, you got Model A's behind me that are worth $20,000 to $30,000, and it's their love and passion, and they could have as much fun as somebody who has a $4 or $5 million car, like a McLaren P1 or a Bugatti Chiron. We have Duesenbergs, and again, you could have as much fun with a Model A or anything else. It's whatever your passion and desire, let it follow you to make your dreams come true.
If you love exotic cars, follow Motor Driven Films to see all the exotics unplugged.